since he touched a board. A little, he admits. Mike nods, a small smirk tugging at his lips. Sit down. Peter drops onto the bench, the weight of his world momentarily forgotten. He watches as Mike finishes setting up the pieces. White moves first, Mike says, gesturing. Your turn. Peter pushes a pawn forward, cautious. Mike counters immediately, his move both aggressive and calculated. There's no hesitation, no second guessing, just pure, sharp instinct. It doesn't take long for Peter to realize he's outmatched. Mike is playing on a different level. As the game unfolds, Mike drops knowledge between moves. Chess is life, he says, tapping a knight before moving it forward. Pawns? That's the young ones, the soldiers. They get sacrificed first. Peter watches the board as Mike's words settle in. The knights? Mike continues, shifting his rook. They move slick, jump over obstacles. Bishops? They see ahead, move diagonally, always watching the long game. He leans back slightly, studying Peter. The king? That's you, kid. Everybody wants to take you out. You gotta move careful. Peter absorbs the words, thinking about the streets, the game he plays every day. The cops, the snakes, the people who claim loyalty but move different when it benefits them. It all starts making sense in a way no one ever explained before. You ever play in tournaments? Peter asks, still trying to read the board. Mike's smirk fades slightly. Once, a long time ago. There's a weight to his words, something unspoken hanging in the air. Peter doesn't press. The game continues and Peter is fighting to keep up. Every move he makes, Mike is already 3 steps ahead. But, unlike most who dominate, Mike isn't just winning, he's teaching. He points out mistakes, explains openings, shows Peter where he went wrong. You're good, Peter says. Mike chuckles, shaking his head. Nah, kid, I just had more time to learn the game. Peter's phone vibrates in his pocket. He knows it's work, but he ignores it. Right now, this feels more important. You come here often? He asks. Mike nods. Every day. Been coming here for years. Waiting. Waiting for what? Mike looks up from the board, his expression distant. For someone to play with. Someone who understands. Peter doesn't know what to say to that. The game nears its end, and Peter makes a desperate move, trying to salvage his position. But it's too late. Mike moves his queen. Checkmate! Peter stares at the board, frustrated but impressed. He lost, but he learned something about chess, about life, about himself. You're incredible, he says. Mike just smiles, but it's tinged with something else, something heavy, something final. As he packs up the board, Peter notices a small, faded photograph tucked inside the chess box. A young woman, laughing, arms wrapped around a younger Mike. Is that her? Peter asks. Mike's hands tremble slightly as he places the last piece in the bag. Yeah, that's Jasmine, my wife. Peter doesn't know what to say, but he can feel the weight of the memory. I'll see you tomorrow? Peter asks. Mike looks at him for a long moment before nodding. Yeah, kid. Tomorrow. But the next day, Mike isn't there. Peter waits for hours, watching the empty bench. The chessboard feels heavier in his hands. Something feels wrong. The next morning, his phone buzzes with a news alert. Michael Allen, 82, passed away peacefully in his sleep. The article mentions that he was a local legend, a man who played chess every day, teaching anyone willing to listen. The photo attached is Mike, sitting at the bench, board in front of him, a faint smile on his lips. Peter feels something crack inside him. Mike knew. That last game wasn't just a game. It was his way of saying goodbye. Later that evening, Peter returns to the park. He sets up his own chessboard right in Mike's spot. He waits. And when a young kid walks by looking curious, Peter nods. "You play?" The kid shrugs. "A little." Peter gestures to the board. "Sit down." Because the game doesn't stop. The knowledge doesn't die. The board keeps moving. And the only way to honor those who played before you is to keep playing